I'm Eli Cairo of Olympia Provisions. We are an American charcuterie company. We started in 2009 as a one-man employee or one-man shop. We opened up Oregon's first USDA-approved charcuterie facility that was able to ferment meat naturally, cover it in live active molds, and ship it across the nation. Olympia Provisions is probably best known for quality, and I think a lot of companies can say that, but in the meat world, we've really taken that seriously. When we say we do, if we could absolutely do it better, we do. You know, we're still hand picking herbs, we hand butcher every one of our animals, we slow ferment, we use real smoke. If there's a way they did it probably 1,000 years ago, that's pretty much the way that we do it now. In my plant in particular, we don't do a lot of casters. Everything is stainless steel edges. We use forklifts that move a lot of these big smoke racks and so on and so forth. And we were always having a problem when we would lay our smoke racks down on those old plastic racks or those tops. It would hit a corner and it would move them and possibly tip a whole rack. And with these, we can lay them pretty much anywhere. We don't even think about when we're taking them over to the dish pit or wherever we are, we just set them down wherever they are, and they're super durable. We don't have to worry about, stainless on top of stainless just lands and just as good as floor. That shrinking that gap down to something where you can just glide over relatively easy. I remember when Tom first pitched me on this idea, he's like, hey, if this is a high threshold, you're gonna have, forklifts coming over this, you guys will never even notice it. And of course I'm like, yeah, it sounds a little salesy, but it isn't. It really is like, we pull hand carts across it with tons of load on it, and you don't even notice it. It breezes right over it. And so the other ones was always, stop in front of them, be careful, make sure all your tracks are level, and then pull the cart across. Now you just move your product across full speed and off to the races. But interesting enough, with cleaning and having to clean them 2 to 3 times a day, we can actually track the efficiency of not having to pull grates, not having to scrub plastic, which is very stainable and keeps product in it. With the new drains, the idea of being able to just sud them, run a brush through, and you can do it multiple times through the day, so there's actually no buildup of gunk in the drains. It really has changed the whole entire time, and the time we spent cleaning drains. And of course, work on drains. Like, on those old drains, you'd be breaking those tops or breaking the plastic and they landed in and they'd have to sit crooked. Or if, somebody didn't have them in there and stepped in the drain and had to trip over them, it was always just an issue. And now they've actually, strangely enough, it's a good problem when it's no longer a problem. You don't even think about them. Like the drains in our plant now are no longer something we really think about. It's just like, hey, we clean them 3 times a day. They do their job, we do our job, and off to the races. So we're a USDA meat plant. USDA could be here 3, 5, 7 days a week if we have to. And one of the big stalls in one of their pre-ops when they're here to check before we start operation is they'll go we'll to the drains. And we'll look in them, make sure there's no meat chunks. They have to be just as clean as any surface. And now with these drains, they're so easy to clean. They're stainless steel, which nothing really stains it, nothing stains them. So if we have meat particles or any debris, it's really easy just to swab them out, get them spit shined and ready to go. So yeah, it really is. Having a slowdown from a meat plant, having a pre-op stall from the USDA there in the middle in the morning can really slow your production down. So being able to get after it right in the morning, have the USDA look at it, know it's spotless and shiny, and then start processing. We're still a small family-run business, so we never jump all into everything. We always like to test the waters first. And so the first 2 drains we put in, within the first 6 months, we instantly knew that all of the other trench drains that we had in this plant are coming out as soon as possible. Now I think we have, gosh, what is it? I think 20, 30, 40 more feet that we are, planning on replacing throughout this year, and there's no hesitation on it. We're like, hey, this is gonna pay off. We're gonna have these forever. And so it's just the way. Anybody I have in manufacturing that is a friend of mine or a colleague or whatever, if they're having any drain problems, honestly, there's no other choice in my mind.